Hey guys, Cola here, and I am definitely not on my way to a civil lawsuit for attempting to burn a teenager at the stake. Burn the witch! Don't I feel like an idiot? In my last review, I boldly claimed that Norville finding a document in Mr. S's office leading to a clue that his grandmother, Edna Purdue, may still be alive was nothing but BS. Hogwash. Baloney. Asinine. Ooh, I like that word. I'll be using that in the future. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a complete red herring, but nope. She's actually alive and plays a pivotal role in this episode. However, we don't get many answers about her whereabouts for the last 30 years, but it does open up a whole lot more questions, which we will discuss more in this video. One thing I want to say from the jump is that the Velma writers are very brave. Episode 3 was a filler episode, which is fine, I guess. I mean, 1 out of 10, it's alright. Then episode 4, no matter how many people may try to defend it, it's also filler, which is now 2 episodes out of 10 that are filler, which some may deem excessive, but you could get away with it. Then you have episode 5. Now, episode 5 is trying its damn hardest to convince you and itself that it isn't filler, and it's not doing a very good job about it. But hey, a leopard can't change its spots. Or was it stripes? What's a leopard anyway? So yeah, let's find out if episode 5 makes it 3 for 3 in this filler marathon Velma season 2 seems to want to go down. Will we ever see a real episode again? If you enjoy my crippling addiction to bad shows and movies, please like and subscribe. And spoilers for anyone who cares. Episode 5 seems to be a commentary on social media and its negative effects on society, which is true to an extent. I mean, have you tried going on Twitter these days? Everyone has a loud voice and everyone is wrong 100% of the time. And in this episode, that's in full effect. And the solution is, well, we'll tackle that when we get there. So Velma and Daphne aren't talking to each other after what happened in the last episode, and Daphne is making posts targeting Velma online. Velma wants to hit back, but she has one small problem. She's bad at social media. Like, might accidentally start a war crime bad.
Sorry, Ed. Rational-minded Velma is done with redheads.
She tries a bunch of different things, even a new app that makes your butt look bigger, but Velma still can't buy a win. She heads to school to try and cause further drama, but thankfully finds the dead bodies of the creepy doctor guys from episode 2. And I say thankfully because whatever Velma was about to post was definitely going to be somehow worse. The police are brought in and whoa! What is happening here? Can you guys spot what's wrong? If you pointed out that there are 7 things wrong in this image alone, then welcome to the Common Sense Lounge. Have a drink, relax, take a load off. For the others, here they are. 1. Where's the crime tape? And we know they have it. 2. Why is Norville here and allowed to be so close to the bodies? 3. Why are the cop moms here? Everyone in town, including the police, know that they are incompetent and useless for outsourcing their work to a teenager who believes in ghosts. Why are they still in a job? 4. Why is Velma still alive and ruining my life? 5. Why are the actual police officers eating at a crime scene? Wouldn't that contaminate any evidence? 6. Why are Mr. and Mrs. Rogers here when Mrs. Rogers, the principal, should be closing the school for the day since a dead body was found on the premises? And we know she didn't do this because Fred literally walks into the room in the very next shot. And 7. Why is Velma still alive and ruining my life? Since the dead bodies were found on the pentagram that they used for their seance last episode, Velma believes that Amber is the serial killer. The cop moms believe that Amber can't be the killer and that Velma is being biased because of her so-called rivalry with her nemesis. Even Daphne agrees with her moms. Wait, she's here too? Can anyone just walk into this crime scene? Is the school still open when there are confirmed dead bodies in the library? What is going on? Their school inspection level has to be at a C- at least. The cop moms tell Velma that she can't leak any of her ideas to the public, that a witch might be the serial killer. You know, it's funny. They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So someone needs to put the cop moms in an insane asylum because 3 episodes ago, they told the exact same thing of not leaking any information to the exact same people. And it did not end well.
Men are dead, Velma.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry.
Now, please, promise you'll tell no one. We have to talk to the press. They can't get so much as a whiff of this.
Everyone has to know the danger Amber poses.
Velma, dong-removing witch is literally America's worst nightmare. People will freak out. This can't leak until we know more.
Surely this will go better. Velma sneaks a photo anyway, and the cop moms address the press. They say it's true that 2 middle-aged men in their 40s were found dead with their dongs removed, which now makes it 4 people killed in the space of a week, and that's 3 weeks after the killings in season 1. Crystal Cove is starting to become a very dangerous place to live and think about moving. Obviously, this news does not go down well with the citizens, and Merle, the original sheriff's twin brother, calls out the cop moms for not doing their job and allowing a potential serial killer to be on the loose. He might be my favourite character, and the cop moms try to calm everyone down by making Velma lie that there is no serial killer and these killings are all just a coincidence. Unfortunately, Fred is also up there.
I'm up here to say I found nothing witchy about the murders at this time. Welcome.
Witchy? Why would you say witchy? Is there a reason to believe the serial killer is a witch?
So now they believe there's a witch. Velma wants to talk to Daphne about a concept that is foreign to me, her feelings. But Daphne runs away from her problems to find Norville lurking around in the trash, before he lets it slip that he is on his way to the Crystal Cove Insane Asylum. Daphne remembers that Velma is an eldritch horror made flesh and kicks Norville into the Uber so they can quickly escape. Let it be known, if the roles were reversed and flipped 90 degrees, then theirs would be seen as a hate crime. It turns out that Norville is going to the insane asylum because he believes the person using the name Dr. Dane Dupree is actually an anagram for his grandmother Edna Purdue. Why he believes this? Haven't a clue, but we need something to get the story moving. I mean, it's not like we've had 2 episodes to flesh out the plot for a cohesive story, but decided to instead use them for filler. Am I right, lads? Daphne decides to tag along because ever since the failed seance, she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't feel like a witch or a popular girl anymore. Basically, she has the same problem that she's always had. You know, it's funny. They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Wait a minute. I feel like I've said that already. Anyway, they manage to evade Velma and her hideous attempts at apologizing, relegating her to the B-plot.
Daphne was about to admit the error of her ways.
Okay, but I have to show you something at home. I think it has to do with the murders.
Now you're probably wondering, Cola, how is this the B-plot when it is related to the murders? Well, my friend, it's because what Amon's baby mama just said plays a very little role in what actually happens, and it's just an excuse the writers have used to break up Velma from the actual story.
But I have to show you something at home. I think it has to do with the murders.
So that was a f***ing lie.
Oh yeah, there's also a C-plot about Fred's dad William wanting to propose to Dia, believe it or not. Talk about moving fast. But this sparks some actual character growth that I might touch on later. For now, Fred's in a weird place because he wants to be angry that his dad is moving on from his mother's death a bit too quick, but on the other hand, he seems to be having positive feelings. Still feels weird saying that word towards Dia because she actually treats him like a son. We cut back to Velma in Sophie's garden, where she tells Velma that she heard Amber cackling like a witch whilst burning something next door last night. Velma believes that this is undeniable proof that Amber is a witch, and also the killer.
That's why Linda and Donna didn't want me talking to the press. Not only do they know Amber's the killer, they're protecting them.
Velma, I'm no detective, but all this does is categorically prove that Amber isn't the killer. And for clarity, I'm not saying Amber is in the clear totally just for this instance, because what Velma's cognitive thinking seems to not realize is that Sophie has just given Amber an alibi. Sophie witnessed Amber, or who she believes was Amber, in her back garden at the same time the bodies would have been placed in the school. However, Sophie isn't too smart either.
You need to post that picture and warn the world about Amber.
Okay, but it won't do any good.
Thanks to Sophie's dumb advice, Velma posts that she thinks there is a connection between Amber and the killings, yet again furthering her agenda and shows she learnt nothing from season 1. And surprisingly, a lot of people are actually responding positively to her post, giving her a massive ego. Well, this can't end well. We cut to the A plot now. Yes, you heard me right. the A-plot has nothing to do with Velma, our master detective. We follow Norville and Daphne entering the insane asylum where the desk lady fumbles the bag.
Dr. Dane Dupree. Do you mean Dr. Dane Perdue? Wait, no, you were right. It's Edna Perdane. Oh boy.
Shockingly, Edna Perdue turns out to be truly alive and drugs her own grandson in a pretty visceral way. We come back to Velma, who is still gawking at the fact she is actually getting likes before Amber and the cop moms come barging in. Velma wants the cop moms to arrest Amber since she believes that they are protecting Amber from justice for all of her supposed serial killings. However, her call-out post on Twitter.com has led to something much worse than an angry mob wanting Amber in jail. It has instead led to an angry mob wanting Amber burned at the stake.
Thanks to you, I'm going to be burned alive!
Bring out the witch!
The cop moms explained for the umpteenth time that Amber can't be the serial killer, mainly because she was with them all night, helping them to burn Merle's signs, so that the cop moms can win the new sheriff election. Now, I'm no politician, but I'm pretty sure that is not how elections work. So Velma is now forced to apologize to the mob she caused by telling them her social media post online wasn't accurate. Surprise! This doesn't work, and they still want to burn Amber. This mob doesn't want to listen to reason, so Velma is forced to find someone who can actually relate to them. Surely, the angry mob won't just trample over the cop moms to rush into the house to grab Amber in the meantime, right? Right? Well, somewhere in an insane asylum, Norville and Daphne wake up from being knocked unconscious and are face to face with the once thought dead Edna Perdue. Norville is obviously angry that his grandma, who was supposed to be dead for 30 years, is actually alive and well and never once reached out to her family. Now, in her defense, Edna explains that she had to go into hiding because the military could still be after her and Project Scooby. Remember Project Scooby from season 1? Those were some dark times.
Norville, I understand your frustration, but telling anyone was too risky. The military is still after me for hiding my journals and abandoning Project Scooby.
We cut back to Velma, and you're probably wondering who she got to relate to the mob. Fred. It's Fred.
Merle listened to you earlier, and mobs just want easy answers in a scary, complex world.
Fred decides to help, but only if Velma helps in her quest of getting her mom's ring size. Wow, they're tying the B and C plot into one underwhelming narrative. Let's see what's going on in the A plot. Edna shows off her life's work to Norville and Daphne. She has hundreds of brains in jars, brains belonging to the rich and powerful, basically on holiday. Yet the American military don't know anything about this. Don't think about it too much. But there's also a deeper meaning behind her work.
I made an incredible discovery. When I placed hardened soldiers' brains in jars, they discovered their true selves, unsullied by outside influences. After the procedure, now knowing who they were, they all left the military.
Now, I have a few questions about this. First of all, what are the sanitation guidelines? Like, ever heard of gloves? And is this process painless? We see the technology used to undergo the operation and I don't see any anesthetics or even painkillers. What would a brother have to do to get some ibuprofen out here? Norville is still peeved off that his grandma abandoned her family to basically open up a day spa for brains. But Edna reiterates that she couldn't reach out under any circumstances, even to Lola and the brains from season 1 because of their impending death.
I haven't even reached out to those poor girls Victoria Jones put in jars, even though I'm sure they're dying.
What? The brains are dying?
Hey, tell me how many of you didn't care about that news at all. Back in town, Amber is being tied up and prepared to burn. Who would have guessed that the two women who outsources all their work to kids couldn't prevent an entire mob of angry witch hunters from breaking down a door? Where even are the cop moms right now? They're nowhere on screen. I actually have no idea where they are. Velma finally arrives with Fred, trying to clear up the situation, and Merle reveals that the whole thing has gotten out of hand. He was just pretending to believe that Amber was a witch, so he could further boost his sheriff's campaign by looking like the people's person. Looks like the mob will no longer listen to reason, even from Fred, who I guess had reason to begin with. William shows up because Dia figured out he wanted to propose and rejected him. So now he needs to save Amber so she can make him a love potion. It turns out Dia figured out William's plan because of Amon's post.
Figured it out because Amon posted this.
TFW, you're not paying alimony anymore. Hashtag freedom. Hashtag never making that mistake again. Amon!
This gives Velma the idea that if she never made her post about Amber, none of this would have happened, which is pretty obvious. So Velma figures the only way to stop the mob from thinking they're wrong is to make them think that they've been lied to. This doesn't work.
Then let this witch go and turn your anger to the force that bewitched your minds. Social media.
Bye! A pox on you all! Help!
Back in the insane asylum now, Edna explains that yes, the brains from season 1 are dying, but it is relatively easy to save them. All she'll have to do is change the solution in their jars. Seems simple enough.
Oh, I thought you were asking hypothetically. See, that's how I would save them if I could leave the asylum, but I can't.
There's another option, you know. Why not just bring the brains here? You don't even have to blindfold them. It's not like they have eyes, or ears, or mouths. Wait, I don't really thought about this, but how are the brains doing anything ever, or communicating with anyone? Daphne comes up with a crazy idea to use Edna's machine to put Edna's brain in her body, so that she can go help the brains in disguise. This is giving off major Get Out vibes, but yet again, I gotta ask, is bringing the brains here really off the table? I feel like it will be less hassle and less removing the brain from your skull in a glorified meth lab where they don't even give you aspirin. I mean, I guess I get why Daphne wants to do it. She wants to put her brain in a jar so she can discover the real her. But is it really worth it? Meanwhile, Velma, on the verge of being burned at the stake, realizes that fear and insecurity created the mob, so maybe the same thing can stop them.
Fear and insecurity created the mob, which means it can destroy it. All I have to do is exploit the biggest insecurity of all. Or should I say, smallest, heh.
Let it be known, if the roles were reversed and flipped 90 degrees, then theirs would be seen as a hate crime. You know, it's funny. They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Okay, what's going on here? But seriously, imagine if it was a guy making fun of a girl's cup size. Do you realize how much hate they'll get? Velma uses the But Look Bigger app from before, but on the pictures of the victims to make them look well endowed. And the cop moms, who have finally decided to turn back up because another kid has solved their issues, jump on Velma's idea and say that the serial killer is only attacking men with big dongs. So anyone who stays is admitting they don't have the facilities for that. So of course, everyone leaves, but Velma still manages to put them all in danger. Luckily, Armand happens to crash and put the fire out, saving all of them. What was stopping them from just jumping off when it's not that high? The episode ends with Daphne going through with the operation by becoming a brain in a jar, giving Edna access to her body, and the priest becoming the serial killer's latest victim. Although, it did give us my favourite joke of the season so far.
Teens, my point is, Jesus only had 12 followers, and he still went viral. LOL.
Yeah, that one gets me every time. All in all, this episode was definitely an upgrade over what we have gotten in the last couple episodes. Velma is still a pretty bad detective with her biased allegations based off zero logic, and at least we seem to now be progressing the plot even if it's at a snail's pace. But I have to say, some of the decision making in this episode is highly questionable, and what happened to Fred's character arc in the last episode? Weren't they setting him up to be more edgy or something? Or is that for the next episode? I rate this episode 5 out of 10. Because we seem to be finally going somewhere. But tell me what you guys think. Is this episode filler? Is it not? I'll leave that for you guys to decide. Cola out.